Alright, I just want to teach you how to make some stuff. We'll start by making some doors, some couches, I don't know, maybe some other stuff as well. Let's start with a door. So a door, it's tempting to maybe cut a hole in a wall and then stick a panel in it, but doors are never like that. Doors have frames and doors have jambs. I'm going to show you how to create some of those things, and we're going to use a cube to do it. So create polygon primitive cube. I'm going to have this cube represent the wall, let's say. Um, I'll make this that. Let's say we're making that as our wall. Hit 6 on the keyboard and make it solid. We'll call that our wall. So I am going to cut a hole for this door. I'm going to create or edit mesh, insert edge loop tool, and I'm going to insert an edge loop there and maybe there, and then insert an edge loop somewhere around there. And then in face mode, for this scenario, I'm just going to delete those 3 faces right there and leave an empty hole, which is sometimes frowned upon, but that's what I'm going to do this time to create that door. I'm going to move this door around off to the side so I can build my door here. Create polygon primitives cube. I'm going to create another door or another thing here. I'm going to make this one a little thicker than the door, and then obviously is about as wide as that door is going to be, and then tall. We'll form it into place, but we're getting this is going to become the door frame and the door jamb. What I do is I click face mode, I click on that face there, and I do edit mesh, extrude, and I'm going to extrude that face. And in this case, I'm actually going to grab both faces. Face mode here. Do edit mesh, extrude, and then I'm going to pull in with the scale tool. I'm going to pull it in narrower. Looks like I have to reset my extrude tool. Hold on a second. Edit mesh, extrude, options box. Set that divisions back to 1. And now when I do this extrude, I'm going to pull in and down a little bit to create the top. Now I'm not worried about what the bottom looks like, I'm just worried about the top. Make it a little thicker, something like that. Okay, now I have that top of the door frame looking about how I want it. I am going to do another extrude, so press G on my keyboard to repeat the last tool and pull in the door jamb here. You can see that I can start intersecting it, and as I move in, I move past the other extrude. So I got 2 extrudes happening on me. I'm going to pull it in just a little bit to about here, and then G, do another extrude, pull it in, and another extrude here to pull in, and then G, another extrude to pull it back. Now I have my door jamb, and when I get those things where they're pretty close to each other, well, I can even move them apart here. Let me even do this. Oh, I've just done too many extrudes here. Z. And now I'm gonna deselect this back face here before I do the last jam and do another extrude. And this time I'm going to press and hold V as I move the move tool back to the last one. That'll complete that door jamb there and make it one basically solid piece. I'll need to do an object mode, edit mesh, merge in order to sew those vertices back together where I created a hole. But basically I'm done. I'm going to take these faces here. I am going to create a hole at the bottom and delete them because I want the bottom of the door jamb to be flat. So I'm going to select it in vertex mode, select those bottom vertices, and use the scale tool to line up those vertices so they're all flat on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and bring my wall back in and start fitting my door into that space. So using the scale tool, getting it roughly the size it needs to be, moving it into place. Move it down. Now in order to keep the symmetry of all the pieces, I'm going to take and just move vertices around for the most part, except for its global scale, and then I'll use this there to line those up at the bottom of that thing. Now I have a door cut in there. I can give it color and whatnot. That actually looks like a door jamb. It has the frame, it has the jamb, and I can put a door in place. Let's make a door next. Edit mesh or create polygon primitives cube. In this case, I'm going to make the door kind of thin there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take vertices and snap them into place. So I'm going to take these vertices right here and use the snap tool, pressing and holding V in the move tool. Press hold V, grab this arrow, and then hover over the vertice I want to line up with. Same here, grab those bottom vertices, use that arrow, and then line it up with the bottom. Here, grabbing those vertices, using the arrow and snapping it over here to that vert, and then the same over here, grabbing that, using the V, and snapping it over to that set there. Now that's a door that's probably too close to being the right size, so I need to make my door a little bit smaller than that. But first let's get it into position here. Let's line that up. Now the door is perfectly the right size, but doors are never like that. They would always get stuck. So what I need to do now is make the door slightly smaller. So I'm just going to make it a teeny bit smaller in this direction and a little bit smaller this direction. And then you give it a gap at the floor and move it up into position. Now with all of these objects, the jamb and the door, I'm going to bevel the edges just slightly so that they don't have these sharp edges. On the door frame, I'm going to hit Edit Mesh, Bevel, Options box, and I'm looking to make a one segment bevel that's pretty small, so 0.05 is probably what I'm looking for. I hit Bevel, and that's too small. Let me try it again. Edit Mesh, Bevel, Options box, let's try 0.0 or 0.2 on there, bevel. That's more what I'm looking like, wanting it out of this thing, just to round off those edges and create a little highlight at the edge of that door. I could do even more since this is the door frame. Edit mesh, bevel, options box. Let's try a 0.5, see what it looks like. And there we go, we can see that at edge nicely. We always want to have those edges so they're visible. They're going to help sell our objects a lot better. Alright, next I'm going to do the same to the door. Edit mesh, bevel, options box. I'm guessing I'm going to need to go down a bit, 0.01 for this one. Let's try that bevel. Oh, again, this one's too much. Oops, Z, undo, edit mesh, bevel. Just try some different numbers here. 0.03. Bevel, too much. Edit mesh, bevel, options box, 0.01. Bevel, that should be good. It's got a nice little edge on it. Use the scale tool to make that a little bit bigger. And now I have a door that fits nicely into a door frame. And I can go ahead and make knobs and that sort of thing after that. There's a door. So that may be one thing you want to add to your room. The other thing we're going to add to this room is a couch. Let's go ahead and create a couch. Create polygon primitives cubes. We're going to create a cube. We'll just scale it to be. We're going to start out making this the base of the couch. Base of this couch is going to have, not including the legs, be about that thick, and then it's going to have cushions on top of this, and then arms that come up out of the sides and a back as well. So in this one I'm going to right click, no, I'll do edit mesh, insert edge loop tool, and I'm going to insert an edge loop over here and another one here to hold the arms of the couch, and then this here to signify the back of the couch using the extrude tool. So I'm going to click on face mode, select some faces here, and then I'm going to do edit mesh, extrude, to pull on those faces to bring them up a little bit. So I'm going to pull up the back of the couch about like that, and then I'm going to pull the back of the couch even further past the armrest and then do an edit mesh extrude there as well. So let's do that, pulling that up. I must have missed something there. Yep, I got an extra face I didn't want. Edit mesh extrude. Let's try that again. Pulling the back of that couch up. Now this is a very sharp, uncomfortable couch, so we need to round it out a bit. We'll do that in a second. But first let's get the basic shapes we want. So I want the back of the couch to be a little bit rounded, so I'm going to scale that in. Try that again here. I'm going to scale that in. I'm going to bring this up slightly, round out that back. These arms, I want them to kind of flare out a little bit, so I think what I'll do with the front of this couch is do in face mode, grab these faces here, do an edit mesh extrude, and I'm going to pull in. It doesn't quite work the way I want it to. Let me try it this way. Edit mesh extrude. I'm going to hit 2 on my keyboard real quick so I can kind of see the results of what I'm doing. And then I'm going to do another extrude. That's going to pull this part of the couch back. So it looks like before I do that, I'm going to need to do, let's see, a G. Yeah, there we go. Kind of create some bumps there at the edge of that couch. That should be good enough. Notice this mode will allow me to model it, but preview what it will look like once I smooth it. So I'm going to do Edit Mesh, Insert Edge Loop Tool to add some edge loops here to harden up the couch where I need it hardened. So start with the back there, a little bit here. Needs to be hardened there and there a little bit, and that's not so bad. And then in vertex mode, looks like I didn't line that up very well in the middle, so I'm going to move it over there to the middle. I'm going to grab these verts right here, move them up a touch. I'm going to take this vert in the middle and kind of bend it out a little bit, maybe move it up as well to give it a kind of bowed in shape there as well. Oops, grab some unintended verts there, huh? So there, scale it and move it up and bring it forward. Don't want the back of the couch bulging, just the front. Okay, so it doesn't have cushions yet. Looks like I want to do Edit Mesh, Insert Edge Loop Tool. I want to insert another edge loop down here at the bottom. And that's turning out pretty decent. I want to see if I can do this vertice. I want to grab these verts right here, and these over here. Let me go back to 1, make sure I'm not getting anything extra. Yeah, that's the set I want. Alright, I want to take those and move them, or in this case scale them out a little. Let's see what that's looking like. Yeah, just to bend those corners of the couches a little bit. And I think I'm getting close. Looks like I need to move this row of vertices, or this edge rather. That's right. No, Edit Mesh, Insert Edge Loop Tool here. insert another edge loop there. Now that I've previewed the smooth, I can smooth up by hitting mesh smooth a couple times, and I'll have the final version of my couch getting pretty close. After that, build cushions and feet for the couch. I'll show you that in a bit.